We're not here to be an incubator. We're here to be a resource, and what people do with that is sort of up to them, and it's sort of what you put into the space is what you get out of it. So we have people that are working on ideas and developing that, but we also have people that are looking for a social outlet and looking for a community of people to work with.
We use this like a study hall for making, because a lot of times at home there's a lot of distractions that are nice distractions, you know, my wife and my pets and chores and stuff like that, but there's stuff that don't let me be as creative as I want to be. So I take one night a week that I come here, I open my shoebox and I just try to figure stuff out for a couple hours.
I think it's really useful to get as much people exposed to, you know, to making things in the makerspace. Yeah, kids, you know, kind of. It's just amazing. Like, you know, use a machine, try doing something, and then, yeah, it just stays kind of with you, and then, you know, you start, yeah, when you start thinking and planning out your ideas, I guess, you know, yeah, more things and ways of solving, or, you know, kind of realizing your ideas come to your mind.
I used to rely too much on having the big high-end machines and having 200 people that would work on it. You know, as an engineer, I come up with a drawing and I say, here, just figure out how to build it. And here it's more of a reliance on creativity and less reliance on capital investment.
So there's always sort of like some crazy project where somebody incorporates their garage door opener and their coffee maker, and so I always find that's kind of interesting. Beyond that, I think it's sort of, you just have to start tinkering. You know, it's like Legos. Like, do you always know what you want to build when you were a kid with a Lego? No, probably not. But if you start and you're like, oh, that would work better if I add this, and that's kind of how it goes. Other times somebody has an idea, or I have an idea based on the fact that, like, you know, I want coffee first thing in the morning, and I think, well, how could I do that easily? So kind of a mix of different ideas.
You can put a Fab Lab in just about any sort of, you know, situation, and all that changes is what it's used for in the output. You know, these tools are designed to make almost anything, so you could use the Fab Lab to, you know, generate art or engineer actual, like, parts, or, like, you know, do problem solving.
I made a GIF animation of a circle turning into half a circle, you know, so just like a white circle, you know, decreasing into half a circle. And then apparently you can turn your GIF into a model and you can print it out. So like each frame of a GIF becomes a layer of your model. So this way I've printed out this kind of like hamburger, you know, so it's like starts with half a sphere and then expands to the circle and then goes back to the sphere, to half a sphere.
We made a we call it Drawbot. It uses like a Sharpie marker to sort of draw on the wall. It uses two fishing line, and it kind of reels one fishing line in, and that'll pull the marker up. And it reels another fishing line and pulls the marker this way, and it just keeps doing that until it draws an image.
Drawbot, which is a device that allows you to plot line drawings on the wall by kind of with a little gondolier that kind of goes back and forth. So that was the first thing we worked on, and it kind of we got it up and running. It's working. It drew some pictures, and it kind of sat there for a little while.
I think that was the coolest because of the way it came together. It was a community of people who did it, and we all did a part, and it had to get done by a certain day, and we just all did our thing, and it all just came together. It was nice to see it just all work.
Yeah, two years ago, for AS20's annual Foo Fest, we had a visiting artist, Dennis McNett, and he created this like spectacle that involved you know, these specific graphics and like these wolf masks and just like all of the, you know, these like just props. And one of the big things was a giant Viking ship. So I worked with him on CNC routing, basically like the ribs and like the framework for the ship. And then he came in and just basically just compiled all the paneling and decorated it and just made it look amazing. And then during Foo Fest, a band, I'm forgetting their name, but a band basically rode out to the stage on the ship. Thrill House rode out on the ship that we made here. And then Aquatic Monsters, part of Big Nazo, attacked the ship on the way to the stage. So it was a pretty awesome spectacle. So I would say that, yeah, that's probably the coolest project.
I do tinker with some like microcontrollers, electronics and stuff for home automation, crazy science professor home automation ideas that sometimes work, sometimes they don't.
I think the kind of like Uber thing for people who are into this is it's kind of circular, but like is the device that will make anything, right? So maybe if I could make anything, I could make the thing that would make anything else, and then it could make it any time. So you're always sort of thinking like, oh, a 3D printer or in CNC, like, well, what if you could combine every tool into one thing that would just make stuff for you?
I would love to start my project again, which was another photo booth station with kind of like with all the things I learned here and all the machines here, and kind of just to almost use it as a like to show off what you can do here.
I kind of want to make something wearable. I'd like to make a wearable Geiger counter. Yeah, because some people need that. It'd be nice to have that on your sleeve. Then you'd know if any food you're grabbing was radioactive when you're stuck in some place like Eastern Europe or Japan.
I am working on a project now. I haven't done it exclusively there, but I do work on it Tuesday nights when all the other members are usually there, which is a Connect-based drawing tool. So what it allows you is a Microsoft Connect, and it allows you to draw in 3D space. So like if you want to draw, instead of having just on a flat surface, you can kind of create these strokes in midair. And so that's a pretty fun project. Still kind of working out the kinks, but it's kind of a nice combination of existing tools and new ideas.
I've had this vision of a robot that waters my lawn for me. And I have a pretty small yard, so I noticed that I could water the whole thing from just standing at one spot. I just kind of like paint the yard, and then I go and I paint it again. And paint it again, I just stand there for 30 minutes, and I was like, oh, but if I could build like a robot that just stood where I'm standing, I think that would be nice. I could do that.
It's opened up possibilities for like what tools I have access to, but also there's some great social importance because I get to be around people. Other people are making things. That's more important. I have a lot of that in tools.
Usually I come in with a project that I have an idea to work on, and I'll kind of tinker on it for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and then somebody comes up and they're working on something, and I ask them, what are you doing? And then somebody else comes up and we're like, oh, this would be cool if you do this. And so by the end of the evening, we've gone down a pipe dream into some crazy idea, or we're actually working on someone's project. Usually I don't end up working on the same thing I came in that night to do. It's usually a lot more social, and that's the whole point when we go down there, is that you get to see what other people are doing, and you get to collaborate and stuff. So
I guess the coolest thing for me is just helping other people, and like, I'm not super techy nor am I super arty, but I love, like, if I am able to do something or help someone with their project or something, I like doing that, no matter how small or big it is.
Well, we have meetups of people who make things, and various kinds of geeks once a week. And sometimes it's hard to find those people when you're stuck in some school or in a bar or someplace like that.
what I like about the space the most is that there's so many different people there. So I come from an arts background, but there's computer programmers and engineers and whatever. And I think what going to the space has allowed me to do is see things from different perspective and incorporate and learn a lot of new things that I wouldn't if I had just been around people that with my own experience. I've learned a lot about electronics, a lot about basic engineering or even programming from just other members who are doing things. So.
There's a very wide knowledge base here that I don't really get when I go to work. Or work with a lot of people just like me who know the exact same gears and levers and type stuff. When I come here, people know all sorts of different stuff, to how to sculpt amazing things out of clay, to how to program some tiny piece of electronics, and they're all just super willing to help you out.
Before, I think, I was kind of like living in the world, or, going to university, we didn't get exposed to those methods, even though our university had machines, but just because you were not doing the, like industrial design, course, you were just, never touching them. You never even went to that room, and which I find is bad, and what happened is that I really had no knowledge of those machines, never tried using them, and just having tried them at least for a week, it just I think implications are already huge in my mind, and I'm gonna try to do something with it.